Hello, welcome to part 1 of our Shaheen Basics Guide. Reminder that we are on Tekken 7 version 4.03. This first part we will be focusing on essential moves. In part 2 we'll talk about basic or common game plan approaches. Then finally in part 3 we'll go over some referential items like punishers and combos. Don't be surprised though that this part will be somewhat short since Shaheen's move list is one of the smaller ones in the game. As always, there's the written version of this guide should you need it. The link is in the video description below. That's all I have, let's get to it. As usual, we'll save stance moves and full crouch while standing stuff for part 2. Although note that SNK transitions can be cancelled, which makes many moves safer than doing them without an SNK cancel, so depending on how you like to look at frame data, just keep that in mind as we go through this essential moves list. 1-2 is standard but has 3 options for cover. Counter hit 1-2-2 gives a launch, so that's normally enough to deter buttons. 2-1 is a safe high mid poke string, so very useful against people trying to duck the second hit of your strings a lot. 1-2-3, 2-3, and even 3 into sneak can be useful for some stance mine games, but we'll talk more about that later when we discuss sneak. Regardless, his jabs are good to spam like crazy. Shaheen's 4 string is an I-11 counter hit launcher. It's magic 4, but of course with string options. 4-1 can be ducked, but because it's so quick, it's usually still your go-to rather than just 4 by itself. You also have a punishable mid option for duckers and a slower counter hit option for 3 to try to catch people swinging. Just be careful with that one because it can still be interrupted by jabs or I-11 counter hit tools. Forward 3 is a safe jumping mid homing move, nice plus frames on hit and a launch on counter hit. Very good against people who abuse low pokes or step. Forward 4 is a quick, safe homing move, knockdown on hit or counter hit for a free back 4 or down back 3-4 if you're close enough. It is a high though, so be careful with that. Forward 3+4 is a mid-mid high crushing kick. You should always go to sneak since it's one of your few plus on block moves that can do that, albeit it's only +1. Also solid for Oki or as a juggle ender thanks to the slam. Generic down forward 1. Quick, safe I-13 mid poke. Only -1 on block. You'll be using this a lot. Generic down forward 2. Safe I-15 launcher. Doesn't launch crouchers unless it's counter hit, but who cares? Again, something you'll be spamming a lot. Down forward 3 is a safe long range mid homing move, gives ballerina on hit and counter hit, and can wall splat. Incredibly useful. Down forward 4 is an I-14 safe mid kick, another nice mid poke, more range than down forward 1 but 1 frame slower, still a great alternative thanks to the extra range. Down 2 is a safe I-18 mid poke, +8 on hit and counter hit, tracks to his weak side which is the main use. Down 3 is an I-16 high crushing low that can go to sneak, which will give it a few more plus frames on hit. Just like with Lee's, this is probably the low you'll use the most to try to open someone up. It's common to do this repeatedly by going to sneak, canceling into full crouch, then CCing into standing to do another one. Down 4 is an I-18 low poke, +1 on hit, -12 on block. Excellent range, so only a couple moves in the game can punish it if blocked at tip range. Generic toe kick. Much like Law, you have to do down 3+4 to get it. It's an I-12 high crushing low with great tracking. It's an excellent move for maintaining pace and spacing. Down back 2 is an I-14 mid, -10 on block but safe if you sneak cancel. Down back 2-1 is also a great punisher that will knock down or splat. Back 1 is an I-20 mid, +2 on block, +8 on hit, and can go into full crouch. Again, he doesn't have many plus on block moves, so take note of this one. Back 2 is his new Season 4 move. It's a safe I-15 mid, +4 on hit, goes into a hit throw on counter hit for a little over 50 damage. Nothing game breaking, but a nice little poke that offers some big reward if you nab a counter hit. Back 3 is a safe, chunky mid kick, 0 on block, +3 on hit, and forces full crouch. Knockdown on counter hit, nice little move. Up forward 3 is a safe mid low crushing launcher, suspect range and of course it's a little slow, but orbitals will always have good utility thanks to being safe mid jumping launchers. Up forward 4 is an I-15 low crushing mid launcher, unsafe just like all hop kicks but very nice range. Forward 4 is a wall bouncing power crush, I-16 which is very fast for a power crush, -11 but safe due to the pushback. Just be careful because it is a high, but otherwise it's one of the better power crushes in the game. Forward back 2 is a safe I-14 high that goes into a hit throw for almost 60 damage. Thanks to the speed, you can use this very similar to a poke, one that does 60 damage. Just again, be careful since it is a high. Shaheen has no running 3, so this is what you'll get instead. A bit risky at -12, but it is an I-17 jumping mid that goes into a launcher so long as it doesn't hit at tip range. Mid jumping launcher at -12 is pretty good. Running 2 is an I-20 mid, knockdown wall bounce, +6 on block. It's not a Dragunov running 2 or anything, but again, plus on block moves are hard to come by for Shaheen, and especially at the wall, this can be very rewarding. Shaheen's Rage Drive is a variation of his down back 2-1, gives a launch on hit, +6 on block if you don't go to sneak, +19 if you do. It's still mid-high and it doesn't jail, so many players will look for this once you have Rage. In essence though, this gives you access to an I-14 mid launcher in Rage. This brings us to the end of part 1. Hopefully this list helps get you started by focusing your attention on the most important moves. Again, in part 2, we'll talk a bit more about application. Look out for that in a couple of days. And with that, thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Also be sure to turn on notifications if you'd like to get alerted as soon as a new vid is uploaded. I also try to stream whenever I can, so the link to Twitch is down in the video description below. You will find Twitter and Facebook links down there too. Lastly, special thanks to our 3 patrons, Tato, Apples, and Overhaul. That support means a lot. Patreon is definitely the best way to support your favorite content creators, and the more support the channel gets, the more content I can afford to do. Stay safe everyone, and we'll see you next time.